my name is Lauren Zare, and I'm originally from Waseon, Ohio, currently living in Harrisonburg, Virginia. I plan to pursue a career in professional theater. I want to use what I love to create change in the world, and I do not want to settle. My two biggest fears are settling and ignorance. That's a whole other subject. I plan to eventually get my MFA in music theater or acting and perform for a while and then teach at the collegiate level. A profound story that I'd like to share with you guys occurred when I was on choir tour in Europe after my freshman year of college with Heston College. And at this time we were in Switzerland, and my friend and I were staying with my host mom, who was an elderly woman, and her son and his fiance came over for dinner. So before dinner we're sitting on the couch talking, and we're talking about politics, which isn't my favorite subject. And this guy was asking us a lot of questions and talking to us about the upcoming presidential election, and I realized after talking with him for a while how much he knew about the election and how much I didn't. And he asked my friend and I if we were voting, and I was like, yes, I'm voting. Thank God he's not going to bite my head off. And my friend was like, no, I'm not voting. And he did bite her head off. So, yeah, she wasn't very happy at that moment in time, but I've talked to her since then, and we both learned a lot from that conversation. Number one, I realized how unprepared I was for the presidential election, and how I kind of wish that this guy could vote in my place, and how lucky I am to be able to vote. Number two, I realized how much power the U.S. has, and how much what the U.S. does affects the rest of the world around us. And at first that made me really mad, and then it made me scared, and then it humbled me. And that's really affected how I view the world since then, and I now see myself as a U.S. citizen and a world citizen, and that was a really profound experience for me. So, thank you for listening. In the rest of my video, I will be performing Joan from Saint Joan, Summer in Ohio from the last 5 years, Richard III, and I tagged on the Cat in the Hat from Seussical if you guys would like to see more. So thank you so much for your time, and enjoy my video. My voices were right. Yes. They told me you were fools, and that I was not to listen to your fine words nor trust in your charity. You promised me my life, but you lied. You think that life is nothing but not being stone dead. It is not the bread and water I fear. I can live on bread. When have I asked for more? It is no hardship to drink water if that water be clean. Bread has no sorrow for me, and water no affliction. But to keep me from the sight of the fields and flowers, to chain my feet so that I may never again ride with the soldiers or climb the hills, to make me breathe foul, damp darkness, and keep me from everything that brings me back to the love of God, when your wickedness and foolishness tempt me to hate him. All this is worse than the furnace in the Bible that was heated 7 times. I could do without my war horse. I could drag about in a skirt. I could let the knights and trumpets and soldiers and banners pass me and leave me behind as they leave the other women. If only I could still hear the wind in the trees, the larks in the sunshine, the young lambs cry through the healthy frost, and the blessed, blessed church bells that send my angel voices floating to me on the wind. But without these things, I cannot live, and by your wanting to take them from me, I know that your counsel is of the devil, and that mine is of God.
I saw your book at a Borders in Kentucky, under a sign that said new and recommended. I stole a
love's majesty to strut before a wanton ambling nymph. I that am curtailed of this fair proportion, cheated of feature by dissembling nature, deformed, unfinished, sent before my time into this breathing world scarce half made up, and that so lamely and unfashionable that dogs bark at me as I halt by them. Why, I, in this weak, piping time of peace, have no delight to pass away the time unless to spy my shadow in the sun, and descant on mine own deformity. Therefore, since I cannot prove a lover to entertain these fair, well-spoken days, I am determined to prove a villain, and hate the idle pleasures of these days. Plots have I laid, inductions dangerous, by drunken prophecies, libels, and dreams, to set my brother Clarence and the king in deadly hate, one against the other. Step right up, ladies and gentlemen, children and creatures, the smallest of the small and the tallest of the tall. Come, old and young, come one and all. It's the Circus McGurkus, in town for 1 week. Each marvelous marvel is 10 cents a peek. Oh, the sight that you'll see! Why, our big top is packed, and you never know where you may find our next act.